Dreezy, the talented and fearless Chicago-born rapper and singer, made headlines on May 21st, 2025, when she revealed that she had been involved in a car accident. The news, which first began circulating on social media platforms like Instagram and Threads, sent a wave of concern through her fan base. In the era of instant updates and viral content, the message was brief yet impactful, an acknowledgement of the crash, and most importantly, a confirmation that she was okay. For those who have followed Dreezy's journey through the highs and lows of fame, artistic evolution, and personal struggle, this was a moment that evoked both anxiety and gratitude. Though she offered few specifics about what had happened, her survival alone was enough to ignite an emotional response from fans, peers, and those within the hip-hop and R&B community who have long admired her resilience and talent. Born Chandrea, Sledge, Dreezy has spent years carving out her space in a fiercely competitive music industry. Growing up on the south side of Chicago, a place known both for its cultural richness and its challenges, she began expressing herself through poetry and music at a young age. Her environment, filled with both hardship and inspiration, shaped her lyrical content and the raw, honest energy that has become a hallmark of her work. For Dreezy, music was never just a dream. It was a survival mechanism, a language through which she could process the world and declare her worth. Her big break came in 2014 when she signed with Interscope Records. At the time, female rappers were still fighting for the visibility and respect that their male counterparts more readily received. Dreezy, with her razor-sharp bars and smooth melodic delivery, stood out immediately. That same year, she dropped a remix of Nicki Minaj and Lil Herb's Chirac, which went viral and captured the attention of both fans and industry insiders. The remix showcased her lyrical dexterity and her confidence. She wasn't just competing with other female rappers. She was stepping into a ring filled with seasoned MCs and holding her own. People took notice. It was clear that Dreezy wasn't just a voice from Chicago. She was a force to be reckoned with. By 2016, she released her debut studio album, No Hard Feelings. The project was deeply personal and sonically versatile, blending hip-hop with R&B in a way that felt fluid and natural. Songs like Body featuring Jeremy became radio hits, while deeper cuts revealed her vulnerability and storytelling prowess. Dreezy wasn't afraid to talk about love, loss, betrayal, and empowerment in the same breath. The album served as both an introduction and a declaration. She was here to stay, and she had something real to say. Critics praised the album's depth and range, and fans connected with its honesty. Dreezy was building not just a career, but a connection, one forged in truth and emotional accessibility. Over the next few years, she continued to evolve. In 2019, she released Big Drees, a mixtape that further showcased her duality. With tracks that ranged from tough and unyielding to smooth and melodic, Dreezy continued to prove that she didn't need to be confined to a single genre or style. She was equally comfortable spitting 16s that rivaled some of the best rappers in the game, as she was delivering sultry hooks that could melt the hardest of hearts. Her versatility became her superpower, and even as the music industry shifted and redefined itself, Dreezy kept pushing forward, never quite fitting into a single box and never wanting to. In 2020, she parted ways with Interscope Records. For some artists, such a move might signal the end of a career or a period of uncertainty, but for Dreezy, it marked the beginning of a new chapter. Free from the constraints of a major label, she found herself in a space of creative liberation. This independence culminated in her 2022 collaborative album Hit Girl with renowned producer Hit Boy. The project was a declaration of artistic control, with hard-hitting production and fearless lyrics that made it clear Dreezy had no intention of slowing down. The chemistry between the two artists was undeniable. Each track carried a sense of urgency and intent. Dreezy had stories to tell, and Hit Boy's beats provided the perfect canvas. When the news broke about her car accident, it was more than just a celebrity update. It felt deeply personal to those who have watched her grow and fight through the ever-changing tides of fame and adversity. Social media quickly lit up with messages of concern, support, and thankfulness. Fans who had followed her journey from the early mixtape days to her most recent releases were quick to send prayers, positive energy, and heartfelt messages. Fellow artists, too, chimed in, offering love and solidarity. Some recounted their own brushes with danger, while others simply acknowledged the relief of knowing she was okay. What stood out in the aftermath of the announcement was the silence from Dreezy herself regarding the specifics. She did not provide a lengthy caption or a dramatic recounting of events. Instead, her message was short and focused on gratitude. It was a choice that said a lot. In an era where oversharing is often the norm and pain is commodified for likes, Dreezy chose grace and privacy. She acknowledged the incident, reassured her fans, and quietly returned to her life. That silence spoke volumes. It suggested a woman who values her life and her peace more than the performance of vulnerability. It also echoed the kind of quiet, strength that has defined her career, a strength that doesn't need to be constantly announced, but is felt nonetheless. The incident, while traumatic, also served as a powerful reminder of life's fragility. Car accidents can happen in the blink of an eye, and for artists like Dreezy, who are constantly on the move, traveling for shows, video shoots, interviews, or simply living life, there's an ever-present element of risk. Yet, it also highlighted the beauty of survival, the miracle of walking away from something that could have ended very differently. Fans reflected on this reality, many of them sharing their own close calls or losses, drawing a collective breath of relief that Dreezy was still here, still breathing, still capable of blessing them with her music. For an artist whose music often explores the highs and lows of life with honesty and grit, this moment felt particularly poignant. Dreezy has never shied away from vulnerability in her lyrics. She's rapped about broken relationships, self-doubt, ambition, and the constant balancing act between strength and softness. The accident, though not fully detailed, became part of that narrative, a new layer of her story that underscored her humanity. What makes Dreezy stand out in the crowded world of hip-hop and R&B isn't just her talent, it's her authenticity. There's a rawness in her delivery, a willingness to lay herself bare even when the world isn't watching. She's not chasing trends or altering her sound to fit a mold. Instead, she continues to grow as a woman and an artist on her own terms. Her evolution has been steady and self-directed. Every project she's released has felt like a step forward, not just in sound, but in self-awareness. And perhaps that's why this moment resonated so deeply. It wasn't just the fact that she was in an accident, it was the realization that we could have lost her, that the story could have ended too soon. For a generation of fans who have found strength in her words and comfort in her melodies, that possibility was almost too much to bear. In the days following the announcement, many fans revisited her discography, letting her music speak in ways that social media posts couldn't. Songs like Spar with Six Lack and Kodak Black, which tackled issues of racial injustice and societal disillusionment, took on new meaning. Lyrics that once sounded like bold declarations of resilience now felt like whispers of fate narrowly avoided. No hard feelings, once an anthem of self-assuredness, now sounded like a mantra of survival. Even her collaborations, from Jeremy to T-Pain, began to feel like time capsules, snapshots of a career that continues to evolve despite the odds. Some artists use their platforms to project power, to create a distance between themselves and their audience. Dreezy has always done the opposite. She invites people in, lets them see the cracks in the surface, the scars beneath the glamour. And in doing so, she's built something rare in this industry: trust. It's a trust that isn't easily earned, but once given, becomes unshakable. That's why this accident wasn't just news, it was a moment of collective emotion. There's no doubt that the experience will, in time, shape her music, whether she chooses to address it explicitly or let it inform her perspective in more subtle ways. The impact will be felt. Dreezy is the kind of artist who channels life into art, who processes through creation. And fans are already looking forward to what comes next, not out of voyeurism, but out of a deep appreciation for her voice, both literal and metaphorical.